The lies of ages fill the air. Truth is bartered, bought, and buried there. History bends to serve the proud. The innocent are swallowed by the crowd.
A court that cannot be bribed. Justice. Devotional series. Episode 4. Last time we looked at the blood you can see. The wars, the violence, the children behind closed doors. This time, the song turns to an evil that is quieter, and in some ways more insidious, because it does its work without ever raising a weapon. The lies of ages fill the air. Truth is bartered, bought, and buried there. History bends to serve the proud. The innocent are swallowed by the crowd. 4 lines, a whole machine. This is how injustice actually runs in the world. Not only with swords, but with lies. Let us take it apart piece by piece. The lies of ages fill the air. Notice the word ages. Not the lies of this moment, this election, this scandal. The lies of ages. Deception is not a modern invention. It is as old as the fall. And if you want to know where it began, Jesus tells you plainly. Speaking of the devil, he said, "There is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies." John 8:44. The father of lies. Think about that. The very first injustice in human history did not begin with violence. It began with a lie. A lie about the character of God, whispered to a woman in a garden. Did God really say, "You will not surely die"? Before there was ever a murder, there was a falsehood. Evil has always needed a lie to do its work, because the truth would expose it. So it fills the air with deception, generation after generation, until lies become the atmosphere we breathe, and we stop even noticing them. Truth is bartered, bought, and buried there. Here, truth becomes a commodity, something you can trade away when it costs too much, purchase when it serves you, and bury when it threatens you. The prophet Isaiah described a society exactly like this. "Justice is driven back," he wrote, "and righteousness stands at a distance. Truth has stumbled in the streets. Honesty cannot enter. Truth is nowhere to be found, and whoever shuns evil becomes a prey." Isaiah 59:14-15. Read that last line again. Whoever shuns evil becomes a prey. In a world where truth has been bought and buried, the honest person is not rewarded. The honest person is hunted. We have all watched it happen. The one who tells the truth loses the job, loses the friends, loses the standing, while the one who lies smoothly is promoted. Truth stumbling in the streets is not a poetic exaggeration. It is the evening news. History bends to serve the proud. This is the oldest trick of power. The people who win get to write the story. The cruelty gets edited out. The victims get erased from the record. And the proud man arranges the history so that he comes out looking like the hero. Pride is the engine underneath it all. The refusal to be small. The hunger to be remembered as great, even if the greatness has to be manufactured by burying everyone you stepped on to get there. The innocent are swallowed by the crowd. And here is where the machine finishes its work. The individual, the truthful one, the innocent one, simply disappears into the mob. The crowd is loud, and the crowd is many, and the crowd does not need to be right to be overwhelming. Scripture gives us this entire machine in a single story. There was a man named Naboth who owned a vineyard. and a king named Ahab who wanted it. When Naboth refused to sell his family's inheritance, the king sulked, and his wife Jezebel solved the problem the way the powerful so often do. She arranged a public assembly. She hired false witnesses to accuse Naboth of cursing God and the king. The lie filled the air. The crowd believed it, or pretended to, and Naboth was dragged out and stoned to death, and Ahab took the vineyard. 1 Kings 21. Look at how perfectly it maps. The lies, the bought witnesses, the proud king bending the proceedings to serve himself, the innocent man swallowed by the crowd. It is all there, 3,000 years ago, running exactly as it runs today. But the story does not end with Ahab enjoying his vineyard, because there was a witness the crowd did not account for. God sent the prophet Elijah to meet the king in the very vineyard he had stolen, and Elijah spoke the words of the Lord. Have you murdered a man and seized his property? The truth that had been buried under false witnesses and a compliant crowd came roaring back out of the ground, spoken by God himself, and judgment followed. The crowd could be fooled. The witnesses could be bought. God could not. And I have to point ahead just for a moment to where this song is eventually going. Because the most innocent man who ever lived was also swallowed by a crowd. He was lied about by false witnesses at a rigged midnight trial. He was bartered for a price, 30 pieces of silver, truth itself sold for the cost of a slave. He stood before a governor who looked at him and asked, "What is truth?" while truth in the flesh stood silently in front of him. And then a crowd screamed for his death and got it. Every line of this verse came down on Jesus. We will return to that. For now, simply notice that God knows this machine from the inside. He has stood where the innocent stand. So where is the hope in any of this? The hope is that there is a court that cannot be bribed. Every human court can be corrupted. Every witness can be bought. Every record can be edited. Every crowd can be stirred. But there is one judge who cannot be lied to, because he was there. He does not depend on witnesses. He saw it himself. He cannot be bought because he owns everything. He is not swayed by the crowd because he does not take a vote. The buried truth is not buried to him. There is nothing hidden, Jesus said, that will not be disclosed. Luke 8:17. And Paul promised that the Lord will bring to light what is hidden in darkness and will expose the motives of the heart. 1 Corinthians 4:5. And as for history bending to serve the proud, God has a long record of bending it back. Mary sang about it before Jesus was even born. He has scattered those who are proud in their inmost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from their thrones and lifted up the humble. Luke 1:51-52. The proud write the histories of earth. God writes the history of heaven, and his version is the true one, and it is the one that lasts. So how do we live inside an age of lies? First, we refuse to add to them. In a world that barters and buries the truth, the people of God are called to be people of the truth. Even when the truth makes us pray, even when honesty costs us the promotion or the crowd. We do not get to lie because everyone else is lying. Second, we hold on to the real record. When you have been lied about, when the truth of what happened to you has been buried under someone else's version, when the crowd has decided a thing about you that is not true, there is one who holds the accurate account. He was in the room. He is not fooled. And one day every buried truth will be spoken aloud in the only court that has ever mattered. The lies of ages fill the air. Truth is bartered, bought, and buried there. But it is not buried to him. And the court where it all comes back to light cannot be bribed.
History bends to serve the proud. The innocent are swallowed by the crowd. Even your word is twisted thin. A shattered world drowning in its sin.